All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chicago Bears Daily, where we post daily Chicago Bears content. If that's something you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So I was listening to a Bears podcast earlier today. It was something NBC Sports. I apologize, I don't remember the exact name. But one of the guys, I think he was a guest on the show, he brought up a phenomenal point. And it was kind of saying, like, you know, there's a lot of Justin Fields naysayers out there, and if you go back and you look at a cat like Josh Allen, who's, you know, very good quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, if you go back, you look at his rookie season, statistically, analytically speaking, there's not much there. You know, there just wasn't much there, statistically speaking. Justin Fields, what did they go? Like what was his record? 2-8, 2-9 in the games he played. By the end of the season, you know, it was very clear, like, all right, Nagy's getting fired, a bunch of dudes are getting fired, let's just shut down Justin Fields. But you got to remember, like, there were several games, you know, even against the Green Bay Packers, where if the defense had just put him in a little bit of a better position, Justin Fields was going to be able to give him a shot to at least, I believe, tie the game. You know, obviously you're going up against Aaron Rodgers, but, like, if you look at the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers, Justin Fields, right in it with a playoff team right there. Same thing with the Ravens, right there with them. The 49ers, right there with them. So Justin Fields has enough tape on him to the point where if you watch it, you look at it, yeah, there were a lot of mistakes in there. There were a lot of stuff that, you know, is going to be fixed and addressed. And obviously, you got to kind of factor in the offensive line not being able to, you know, provide Fields with like more than 5 seconds behind the pocket. But just kind of all things considered, when you really look at some of these plays, especially there's a couple of plays in that Steelers games where Justin Fields just puts it right in the money, right where he needs to put it to connect with Darnell Mooney. You know, Darnell Mooney, I made a video yesterday talking a little bit about the Bears wide receiver core, and I think it's literally just because of his lack of size that no one's really thinking Darnell Mooney's a wide receiver number 1. I mean, he's a very impressive wide receiver. He's a very impressive player. He's so young, but he's so polished. Like, you don't know if he's been in the NFL for 3 years. Maybe he's been in it for 8 years. So I think Fields and Mooney are going to have a nice little connection next season. And it's just, there's that one thing you got to really keep in mind. This is the first year of a new management structure and a new coaching staff. So are you trying to win the Super Bowl the year that you just fired your coach, missed out on the playoffs? No. I mean, like, just being realistic, you know, the chances that they even had to win the Super Bowl, even if you still had Nagy, are relatively low. So this is a prove-it year, man. This is literally just a prove-it year where you have Foles, you have your coaching staff just kind of evaluating your current players, you know, trying to come up with a more specific long-term plan. But you bring in all these cats on one-year prove-it deals. You just had a phenomenal draft. I still can't really believe that the Bears not only got Kyler Gordon, but they were able to get Jaquan Brisker. Like, those are 2 secondary studs, and I'm going to be making a video on those 2 cats because Dr. E's been really high on them so far in OTAs. So I can't wait to see how those 2 guys look this upcoming season. But you just got to keep in mind, like, just because you're not a Super Bowl caliber team doesn't mean your franchise isn't going in the proper direction. Obviously, you're kind of restarting from scratch here, but the Bears, they have a bunch of players that there's a lot to be excited about. I mean, Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery, the new running back like Khalil, Ebner. You look on the secondary, you still have Roquan Smith. You bring in interesting players like Morrow. You have a good draft class. You know, let's see how Eddie and Jalen do, you know, in the secondary. Like, this is just another plan. This is an evaluation season where they're going to evaluate their current players, the new players, like just all the above. So from here out, you see how the squad does. You see who complements who. You see who's having issues with what. Maybe you make your tweaks. And then you hit free agency, you hit the draft, and you address what you need. And so I would imagine, I mean, you probably won't see too many more signings this year. I know the Bears got, what was like a little over $7 million in cap space after the June 1st, but I wouldn't anticipate too many new signings from the Bears. If they are, they're going to be like they've been doing, very low-key, very low-year, low-risk, high-reward type of contracts type of players as well. And next year is when you just start to ramp it up. You start to make your big flashes. You start to kind of, get deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why I can't think of the word I was trying to think of, but you're just filling in the holes. You're filling in the holes, you're improving, you're progressing, you're developing, you're doing the whole 9 yards. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about next season for the Chicago Bears. But like I said, I think expectations are totally fine. I think they're totally where they should be. Like, you want to see some good games, but based off of what we saw from Justin Fields in a couple of games, we're a lot to be excited about. He's putting the offense, he's putting the team in a position to win, and at the end of the day, it comes down to execution, whether that's on the defensive end, whether that's on the offensive end, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So hit that like button for me, hit that sub button, and I'll catch you guys later.